Well, I was hoping it wouldn't be raining, but we're going to do a quick sort of what I've learned in Interchange Scav run and like the best route to take. So when you spawn in Interchange as a Scav, you're almost always either going to spawn out here at Scav Camp, or you're going to spawn back by tower. So there's a couple different options depending on what you're trying to do. In this case, if you just want to get in, get as much stuff safely as you can and get out. And it kind of depends on what you're going in for. The safest place to start is right down here in the basement usually, when you spawn outside here. So in PvE, PMCs will spawn up in the middle, up around Brutal, Mantis area, or back by Goshen. PMCs will also spawn in Ollie, and they will spawn in, oh, that's lucky, I already have that key though. They will spawn in Idea, and I've seen them come down into the basement on the Idea side before. So we're just going to be a little cautious. I've never seen PMCs come down there or come down the ramp. So this is kind of the route I take when I run from the front. If I'm coming in from the back, I take a modified version of this route, and I'll show you here in a second. I'm just going to grab as much stuff. Right now my objective is money first. And then miscellaneous parts for upgrading the stash. That's bigger than what I'm carrying. No, it's the same. So there's definitely somebody yelling already up in the middle. I just heard him. Wires. So when I do this run, you know, my primary objective usually is to safely get through, loot as much as I can, and get out. Now if I didn't have a bag, or I didn't find anything useful, then I might go tangle with PMCs to get some more gear. A lot of what's different about PvE, it is a different game in a sense. You know, it's got the same game loop as PvP. It's got the same basic, you know, the same mechanics and everything. But what I mean by different is your pathing is going to be different. Your objectives are going to be different. Now, I have seen a PMC down here once. They will come down the stairs every once in a while. So just be careful running around here. So I like to hit this loot spot all in the middle here. And then we're going to go hit some tents, where we often find halfway decent spawns stuff. Put those in there. All right. So the other thing that you know, PMCs are not the brightest. You usually will do fine if you use hardcover, peek them, and kind of know where they're at before they know where you're at. I mean, I've been able to stand practically out in the open and gun them down. Always make sure you check in here. There's a med spawn area that could potentially... We've seen a LEDX spawn there in the past. getting a lot of those logs. I don't hear any gunfire. You can usually listen too for the gunfire to get an idea where PMCs are going to be at. Is that the one I need for the... Oh, crap. Okay, that's the 200,000 ruble one I need for the next gunsmith. It's keeping me away from it. Nice. I'm going to loot in here, being very careful because there could be PMCs in the next area over. Yeah, no box. Usually there's a box back there and sometimes a duffel over here. I saw somebody moving around over there. I hope it's a scav. I hope to gods it's a scav. The screws. Alright, now, I have things I need, and I want to make a safe extract. So a lot of times what I'll do is I will run back this way, and I'll show you the route if I had spawned on the other end. If I had spawned back by... Oh, come on. Okay, nothing up there. Sometimes there's a box up there. And this is just the safe way to do interchange. You know, we said if you want to tangle with PMCs, you can. So I'll come back here, check a couple of spots. Like there's sometimes ammo boxes or a duffel bag. There's ammo. Sometimes a gun box over there, and then sometimes a duffel here. I'm going to wind up with some decisions. I need that tool set. Decisions. I don't need more food. I don't need bandages. I don't need that. I do need that tool set. Really bad. Sometimes a gun box here. The randomized locations of loot have definitely changed how you do runs. I mean, you can't. You're not guaranteed really anything. What is that? Was that a set of nogs? Okay, I'm gonna just take those. Just what to get rid of? What to get rid of? Don't really need that. Okay, and then over here, sometimes a med bag here, and then get up here. So I'll show you real quick. When I spawn over at power instead of out front, what I'll do is I'll loot power, loot all the power, and then loot back there by the stash. You know, all the buildings over there that have toolboxes and the stash and everything, and then come over here and loot the bags and everything on the ground, and then I'll come in here and loot this. And if that gets me full, then I'm out. Very quick, easy, simple run. I'm actually going to check over here real quick. Only because bags can potentially spawn some really good stuff that I might need. Don't really need any of that right now. The other big difference with PvE that's important is you have to hoard differently, if that makes sense. Like, you don't have to worry about losing. I need that really bad. You don't have to worry about losing hits nearly as much. you're going to get all your insurance back pretty much every time. So you don't need to collect a bunch of helmets and ears and armor and all that stuff because you're going to get them back. So I recommend, like, collect the best 4 or 5 headsets, the best 4 or 5 helmets. Have yourself like 4 or 5 decent kits and sell the rest. Alright, I check under here. Oh, look at that. Now we got the other adapter. Oh, and that Mosin thing. I'll take that. What do I want to get rid of? I know that 8.56 is not the best ammo. I've got plenty of meds. I want that Mosin thing for my Mosin. But I don't have a lot of 5.56 ammo right now. So I'm going to take it. Alright, so now I have never run into anybody going out to rail. There are often PMCs on the back dock of Ollie. So if you want to tangle with PMCs, you can go that way. But if you want a quick, safe extract, head to rail this way. And then hit the stashes on your way out. And now the stashes are randomized, not there. Keep an eye out though. Just because they're not there, they do spawn in other random locations where they didn't spawn before. So just because you don't see a stash in its normal location doesn't mean it didn't spawn. It just didn't spawn there. So sometimes you'll see them peeking out of bushes in different spots. So I kind of keep an eye out in different places for them. Alright. So then we're going to run up here. And I'll show you when we get to my stash some of the other differences. Just the quick little tips for PvE. Right, sometimes the stash spawns along there. I don't see it. I'm going to check up here for this stash. It's here. Again, I've never seen PMCs out here, but don't let your guard get down too much. Because it's possible that they'll roam out here. Okay, sometimes there's a gun box on the tracks of that crane. I don't see any. And sometimes a stash under there. I do not see it. So we're going to make a beeline for our extract. Hitting a couple spots. This is not always here. It's here, so we're going to check it. Hoping for another gun. Not going to have another gun. Another suppressor I don't need. Alright, and then out we get. And I've never seen anybody out here, but you never know. A couple of other things to know about PvE if you have not played it yet, or are curious about whether it's worth getting if you don't have it. The rate timers for PMCs are shorter. Kind of frustrated with that. I'm hoping they may change that, because it's really difficult to do some of the longer chain tasks on the bigger maps like woods and shoreline. It just takes so long to get across the maps, so you don't have a ton of time. Also, what was I going to say? Oh, like I was saying, you have to hoard differently. And I'll show you kind of the mess that my stash is here. I cleaned it up recently. I'm going to wind up selling most of this stuff. But think I already have a ZB14 key as well. Because you don't really lose anything, you'll get everything back on insurance. It's easy to let your stash get completely packed. I did it recently. I had to go through and I had way too many headsets and way too many helmets and armor and all this other stuff, and no room for it. And every time my insurance came back, I had nowhere to put my insurance, so I was selling stuff off. So I finally went through and cleaned up. Finally got containers. Work yourself, obviously, to containers as fast as you can, just like normal. But I went through and kept like my 5 best helmets. These are for upcoming quests, I did manage to get Killa. I'm keeping my 4 best headsets, and that's a quick tip is the PMCs often have contact 4s. I've gotten slicks off of these PMCs. The guns are garbage, but their armor and headsets and helmets are usually pretty good. So I would tend to sell the guns or pull the attachments off the guns. Another thing you can do is strip the guns down, buy a new lower receiver for the gun, the main component, and then put it all back together. What else have I noticed that's different? Again, keep your stash clean. You'll be surprised. It's weird when you go from PvP to PvE. It's weird getting all your stuff back. You don't expect that. So it is a bit of a strange thing to get all your stuff back. If you do want to tangle with PMCs as a scav, figure out where they're at. Try to find them first by listening for them calling out to each other or calling out to other scavs. Sneak up on them, use hard cover and peek. And again, running interchange, you're going to have PMCs in most likely at the front of Goshen or over in Brutal Mantis area. You're going to have them most likely in the front or the right side of Ollie, back there by that second set of computers. That's where we run into them all the time. The back dock of Ollie, you'll have PMCs back there. You can have them in the front of Idea, and those will sometimes run down into the basement. I've been jumped by them down there before. And finally, where else have I seen PMCs? I think that's it. Those are the only places I've seen them on Interchange so far. So knowing where upstairs in the food court, we've seen PMCs up there. So just being aware of where they're going to be at and approaching those areas with caution. You can usually get the jump on the PMCs and get them. They're not nearly as accurate as bosses or rogues, or the goons. They are more like raiders. So just be careful, and you can usually get them, especially if you've got a group. Running with a group will make it a whole lot easier. So that's it for running sort of the scav loop on Interchange. I know it was quick. That's really all it is. If you have more stuff, you just make the run longer. You avoid those PMC hotspots. But you can't do the normal run we used to do where you would run all the way across the back of Ollie, just looting all the toolboxes and all that stuff. You can still do that, but I generally don't run out the back of Ollie because the PMCs, unless I want to fight them. I'll drop off of the chain link fence out of the back down to the Connex and run out to Embercom that way and avoid the back dock of Ollie. If you want to make that run, you can still do it, just avoid the back dock of Ollie, unless you want to fight PMCs. So yeah, that's kind of how I do the scav run. Those are the differences I've seen so far with PvE. Quests are easier to do because there's no PMCs camping them. You just have less time. Loot is easier to get because you don't have PMCs and cheaters jumping in and getting to the good stuff first. So you literally have your pick of whatever spawns into the map, which is really nice. I've been finding a lot of stuff that I didn't normally find early on. So yeah, those are a couple things to to keep in mind. That's how I run Interchange when I spawn at the front. And again, I just kind of do the reverse if I spawn back by power. I have not spawned anywhere else on the map as a scav. So if you do have any questions, put them in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Hopefully that was informative in just a quick 20 minutes. And I will see you guys all again soon. You have a great one. Much love.